Aloha, Richard Halverson here. This is ITS128, and I think I'm sharing my screen already. Today is November 9th, and we are down here in weeks 11 and 12. And so I think I'm gonna leave the last two labs in chapter 7 for you to do. When you look at the playlist, I think we've gone up to 7.10, and you can of course email me and ask your classmates and so on. There's a lot of help there. I'd like to start with lists and dictionaries because it's about time. We've been using them and I've talked about them a lot, and now it's time that we formally learn them. So let's start with chapter 8.1 here. And a list. A list is a type of variable that it's an object, it's a container, and it contains a list of objects as you'd expect. There's a left to right position ordering, and the elements in the list can be accessed by indexing. You know, there's the first element, the second element, the third element, and you can just say which element you want to access, you know, with brackets after the name of the list. And you can either, you know, use them on the right side of an assignment statement in an expression, so it can be in an expression, or it can also be on the left side of an assignment statement, and which means you're setting a value, you're assigning a value to that particular element that you're indexing. So, like for example, this list here, this is element index 0. This is element index 1, and this is element index 2. So it's a 3-element list, and as you can see, it in the memory, it actually allocates, you know, 3 positions for it like this, and they're indexed. And the indexing is considered random access indexing, which means it doesn't take any more. It doesn't matter, you know where the it doesn't matter what the index is. It's not any more or less efficient to use a lower number index or anything. I mean, it's not like it's faster to access the lower number, elements and so on. It's considered random access. This structure is called an array in most other languages, but in this language we call it a list. In Python we call it a list. And so here's how you index it. There's a list can also be created using a built-in list function, which accepts string iterable object argument, which just means something that's can be easily stored as a list and creates a list. And so it's pretty smart like this. Like, you know, saying this function will create a list that looks like this, which is what you'd think. And so this talks about indexing, which we already know. This is how you index the 5th element in a list, which is called that. And so let's see what this a list element can be directly accessed using this. Okay, so this is so let's run this and see what it's supposed to do here. The input is 3, and it asks for the input, and it's going to be 3, and the input is converted into an integer, and so it's asking like the first person, second person, and so on. So this is a list that's ordered in oldest to youngest. So if we run this, it means we're asking for the third element in the list. And does it do it? Does it do it? No, then it doesn't do it. Is there an error or something? Well, anyway, so we run it, and it's going to give us third oldest. Well, this is what happens if we do 1. Okay, 1. How does it oh, I gotta look at the rest of the here it is. It takes it and subtracts 1. So it takes care of subtracting 1. So here it's actually it takes the 1, subtracts 1 from it, and that becomes 0, and that's the index. Okay. So so that's indexing. Here's a list. This is how we define a list. This is the index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3. And so this is going to print out index 0. And so it's going to be cat. This is pretty easy. So you can go through this. Here we calculate the index. It's going to be index 1, which is going to be this one. All right. So these are some common list operators. What is this? So here's a way to define a list. You just put it in brackets with commas. Here's a way to define a list. You put something that can be iterated through. And the simplest example is a simple string, and it's just, you can iterate through the characters of a string. So it's smart enough to know that that is what you want to do. This is how you refer to an element or reference an element in the list. This is just like strings. This is with if this is a string, then here we're slicing out the characters of the string from start all the way to end -1. This is a way to get a new list starting with this index, and does it include 1, 2, and 3. Okay, this I don't know if the end, I don't think the end includes I don't think this is inclusive. So anyway, we can test that later. Here's how you add. Here's how you concatenate two lists together to create a third list, and so on. So you can. These make sense. Of course, this is the. This is the length of my list. Add the elements in X to the end of my list. The append X method may be preferred for clarity. Okay, so this is a fancy way of appending a list onto another list. Because my list contains this, and we're going to say from the starting at this index, which would be 1 past the last index, because this is index 2, so the length is 3. So starting at index 3 all the way however long it takes, you're adding this list onto it, and this list is simply a single element list or single element list, and so this is what it looks like when you print it. So anyway, this is hard to just look at and understand. It's not until you come across an opportunity to use it where it really kind of sticks. But so just learn from this that almost anything you can think of for how you would want to manipulate a list, there's probably a Python method for a function. Okay, so in-place modification of a list, you can go in, okay, here this, okay, so this defines the last element. Let's see, it sets the last element. Let's see, 0. Oh, it has it up here. Hello world. Hello. Where's the space? I don't see a space here. Oh, maybe this is what it looks like after it's all done. Because here it deletes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, the space would be inside here. So that's what this is. So this statement here is what deletes the space, which is why there's no space up here. Okay, so let's take a look at this and see what it does. First, we create a list, and that's what it looks like. And then we go ahead and append space WORLD period, and see, so that's space. And this is, starting from the 5th element, because the length is 5, all the way to however long this list is. Append this on, or set that part of the list equal to this. And then change number 11 to an exclamation point. See, that's what it did there. And then the last thing it does is it deletes that element of the list, and you see it got smaller. And when they say lists are mutable, this is a really good example, because if lists were not mutable and you would be doing something like this, each time you'd be creating a new object. So the difference between in-place modification of a list and an operation that creates an entirely new list is important. So that's what this is about. Here in this example, okay, so we define a list, and then we set a shared reference to the same list. That's interesting. So that means when we change your teams, we change my teams also. Let's see what happens when we run this. Okay, so so we've executed the first one. Now we've got a list. And now we execute the second one. Okay, so it's a reference to the same list. And then we change it to Lakers. So 1 is now Lakers. It was Heat. And then we're going to print 4 and 5, and they should print both the same thing. So if you want to make a copy of the list, you do this. Okay. So instead of just doing this, you do is that what you do? Oh, okay. So assign your teams with a copy of okay, so yeah. So you do this. You put that there, and that means that on this side you want it to be a copy. Gee, I'm gonna put it over here. Okay, so here I would have put, if I were designing the language, I would have put this over here because it makes more sense. But anyway, they didn't, and I'm sure there's a good reason for it. But this changes my teams, but it's not going to change your teams. See, that's the difference here. See, this one, see, it creates a copy, and then see, only my teams changes. Okay, so that your team stays the same. For indexing, yeah, this is what you'd think. This is the third element of colors, and that's going to be that one. So it's 0, 1, 2. It's turquoise. Oh, I see. Oh, okay, we're seeing here that this actually. Oh, all right, let's run this. Let's run this and see. Okay, that executes, and then that changes it to that, and that makes. So here we print that, and that's what it prints to, and then we set favorite color. It's a new variable, which is actually, yeah, sure, that's what you'd think. So favorite color initially is set to blue, and then it's overwritten. Yeah, it's overwritten to turquoise, but the list itself is not altered. Okay. All right, which makes sense. I can see why they'd have to explain that to you in this language, though. A program can modify the elements of an existing list. Yes, it can, because it's mutable. The size of a list is determined when the list is created. You know, that's false. Although in other languages, this would be true, but in this language, it's false. And all elements of a list must have the same type. No, that's not true. We saw examples of lists up above where there was like this. First one was a string, the second one was like a number, a negative floating point number, and all that. So this would have to be false. In other languages, that would be true. Most other languages, that would be true. Statement like this produces a new. No, this just actually removes the list right out of that. Removes the element right out of that list, and that list just shrinks down once. So this is false. This produces a new list. Gosh, I'm not sure about this one. So I'm gonna say true. List concatenation appends the right to the left and creates a new list with the result. Yeah, okay. So this does create a list. Enter the output for the list. Well, this is probably really easy, so I'm just going to do one of them. What's the list output? Print that. It actually prints the brackets and everything. Okay, so I'm going to say it's this. Does it print spaces? It looks like they print spaces after. Okay, so I'm going to. Yeah, okay, it does print spaces. Okay, so anyway, you can do the. All right, this is going to take the old value of user values, adds 1 to it, and stores it back into the first one. And so it's going to take 1 and add it to the 1. So it's print user values would be 2. Okay, so this was this. And what this statement here does, this statement is going to assign a new value to this one, because that's what user value 0 is. So what is the new value? Well, it's going to take the old value of that was already in there and add 1 to it. And so 1 plus 1 is 2. So this is going to be 2. And we better make sure we put this return here because we're using a print statement. Okay, so This just adds 1 to this one, and this adds 2 to this one. Yeah, this is getting increasingly. I wonder what they're. I wonder if we're gonna see. Well, anyway, so I'm gonna. That's the rest. Okay, so this is gonna be this, and we're gonna add to number 2 to this one. We're gonna add 1, and to this one we're gonna oops add 1, which makes it 9. And this one we're going to add 2, which makes it 3. So this is just going to take this, and it's going to take the value. It's going to take this value, and it's, oh no, yeah, it's going to take this value and set. It's going to set this to be a new value, and that's this one. It's going to be, that's going to get a new value. What's the new value? Well, it's this value. So this goes to here. Okay, what's the last one? Okay, so we start out with this. And then we're gonna give this a new value, give the 0th one a new value. We're gonna give this one a new value. What is the new value? Well, it's gonna be whatever is in 1. So it's gonna be the 5. So I'm gonna change this to 5. And now, what does this do? Oh, this gives the first index 1 a new value, which is this one, gives this one a new value. And what is that value? Well, it's whatever is in 2. So it's this one. So I'm going to copy this and make it, write it down there. And is this right? Yes. Click any level to practice more. All right, well, you might get different ones. Modify the short names by deleting the first element and changing the last name to Joe. This is the input, and it's going to output, it's going to get rid of Gertrude and leave a list of Sam, Ann, and Joe. So first we make this a list, and then we delete the 0th element, and then just print the list. We read in the list, we split it, and now we have the short names, and then we're gonna just delete the first element. How do you delete an element of a list again? It's delete del. Anybody out there? Ah, here we go. This. I'm not really that forgetful. I just want to show you that something slips your mind. It's up there. It's close by, and you see the reference, the image of the reference when you see it, and then you're able to get at it. So here I'm going to delete short names, and I'm going to delete the 0th element. And this should print it out. Okay, so you can try that. All right, so there are methods with lists, and I actually got a good night's sleep last night, but I've already done a whole bunch of stuff this morning. Here's how you add something onto the end of the list. And you remember earlier up, we were learning this other convoluted way where you take the length of the list and a colon, and that's the index, and you set that equal to it. Well, this is the preferred way. So this just appends an item onto the list. So here we're appending 16 onto this original list, and we just get this. Here we're extending, add all the items in this list to list. So it's actually extend, and you know, this is a list, and this also can be a list like a named list also. Sometimes you want to insert a list I don't insert X. This is probably just an item. So you see this, this is going to insert at index 1, insert this. So originally it's this, and so this is index 1. So right there, we want to insert this, and of course that pushes this and anything else, you know, up 1 or down 1, however you want to look at it. This will remove the first item from a list with value X. Okay. 0. Okay, pop. Got it? Okay, pop removes and returns the last item of the list. So it removes and returns, and this will remove and return the item at position I. This will remove the first item from the list with value X. Okay. All right, so you can see what this does. So this is how you pop the first element. This is how you pop the first element in the list. This pops the last element in the list. I see. And this pops the ith element of the list. So you say this if you want to pop the first one, because I can see how you can, you know, I can see, I guess, why you'd want to pop the last item off. And I can see why you'd want to pop anything off, but I would think the first thing you'd want to do is pop the first item off the list, because, for example, if you're making a queue, if a list is built and there's an order and you want to process the list in order, there should be an easy method for that, and this is it. So anyway, there's built-in methods to sort and to reverse. All right, and this returns this one up here. This removes, this returns the index of the first item in the list with value X. Yeah, so if you actually wanted to, okay, so this returns, this removes. This counts the number of times that this value is in the list. So here we see that 5 is in the list 3 times, and so. Oh yeah, so this prints out how many times 5 is in the list. Let's see, in-place modification using list methods. Okay, so so here we have a list, and we should see that this will stick a 9 at the end of it, so there'll be a 9 here, and then this will insert an 18 after the second element, so this is 0, 1, 2, so there'll be 18 there. This will pop off the last element, and so that's going to be the 9 that it pops off. And then this removes the 4, and this removes the 55. There's no 55. So the final list is going to be 0, 1, 2. Oh yeah, 18. Okay, so oh yeah, this inserted after 18. This okay, so yeah, this is the final list. Okay, let's see it. Let's see it work that way. So first we create this list, and then we're gonna append a 9 onto the end of it, and then we're gonna insert 18 at the second index, and so we insert it in there, and the 16 and the 9 get shoved down by 1. This is gonna pull off 9. So 9 is popped off, and by the way, it's set equal to value. Value is not shown here. And the next one is going to remove the 4, so it's going to be 1, 18, 1, 4. I mean, 1, 18, 16. And this isn't going to do anything. All right. Let's see. So we're supposed to finish this program, which implements a digital line queuing system. That means it's a list. It means a list of numbers for an amusement park ride. The system allows a rider to reserve a place in line without actually having to wait. Well, that's nice. The rider simply enters a name into a program to reserve a place. Riders that purchase a VIP pass can skip past common riders up to the last VIP rider in line. VIPs board first. Jeez. Now I don't like this because I don't like it that rich people get to just like buy their way, buy their way. But anyway, that's just me. For this system, an employee manually selects when the ride is dispatched. Complete the following program as described above. All right, so gee, this is a complicated program. Okay, so riders per number of riders per ride. Okay, this is the line. The number of right now there's 0, and these are the 5 things you can do. Let's I'm gonna make a what you call replit. And I'm gonna go over to Rich Halverson. That's the one I want to use. Now I'm gonna go over to Teams, and I'm gonna go into ITS128, and I'm gonna create a new team REPL, and I'm gonna use the Python thinger, and I'm gonna call it. No, I'm gonna call it this. Is it too long? And it's public because it's free. And I'm going to create the REPL. So here it is. And now I'm going to go back here and I'm going to copy this into over there. Copy. And go over here and I'm going to paste it. Guess I got to use Control V. Control V. All right. Now, oh good, it tells me all the places where I got to type stuff in. All right, so I just want to show you how you can get all of these ITS128 REPLs, and that is you can just go to this part, this URL, https://replit.com/@ITS128. So I'm going to copy that part. Copy, and I'm going to open up a completely different browser. Well, I'm going to open up this browser, which is what Microsoft is trying to get you to use, which is Edge. And I'm going to paste it in here. And I'm nobody, not signed up for anything. I'm just like you at home. And looky here, I'm not logged in, but here is the one I'm working on right now. So anybody can go in and just click here, and you will be able to run it by clicking run, and you'll be able to show files by going down and seeing the file, which right now looks like this. Okay, I just want to point that out to you. Very good information to know for all of you at home. All right, now it's 12:07. Good. So here, this is a menu, and we're going to display out the menu. I'm just going to run it, see what happens. Okay. Am I able to? So I'm going to try clicking a 1. 1. Enter. Enter the name. Joe Schmo with a C. Okay, Joe Schmo. Enter a command. I made it all lowercase. How 1921. And I print it out, and then I append it onto the line. Okay. What's next? 2 is not going to work. 3 is not going to work. 4 is gonna, and then there is no 5. 5 is, oh no, else unknown option. Is there a 5? Oh, if it's not equal to 5. All right. Let's. So what's okay? So use print. Okay, so when we actually remove the riders, we're going to have to remove the riders, and we're going to have to get rid of actually remove them from the list. This is going to be interesting to run. Here, let's, if we actually go over to debug, we can start this now. Let me set a breakpoint here. So we print out the thing, and oh no, we aren't there yet. It's asking me a command, and the only command there that works is reserve a place in line. So I'm going to hit a 1, enter. Now we're sitting here, and we see that we created the list called line right here. And now I'm going to go to I'm going to execute. I'm going to execute to the next breakpoint. So what it's going to do is it's going to take one pass through here and come back up here and stop again, because that's where that's the breakpoint. I think the breakpoint's still there. So I'm going to just click this one, and it's going to ask me the name, and I'm going to say Pat. Oops. Pat Wong. Okay, and so now we're at the breakpoint again, and let's. Are we at the breakpoint again? Oh no, I have to enter a command. I'm down here. I have to enter a command, and I'm going to say whatever, 1 again. 1. Okay, now we see that Pat Wong is in line. Is there going to be a different VIP line? If there's a different VIP. So anyway, so we can actually add another, Joe Schmo. And now both Pat Wong and Joey Schmo are in the list. So let's go back and read this again. A rider can enter a name. Are there any hints? Okay, well, let's just try to write something here. I'm gonna go move this over here. I'm gonna stop this. And I'm gonna move this over here. And let's see. I'm gonna just in case you were wondering, I'm gonna put another little comment here on top. This is we're in section 8.2. So I'm gonna say as a comment here, I'm gonna put okay, so I'm doing that program in section 8.2. This went down at the bottom, and so this sets the riders equal. Okay, so we have a line of riders, and number of VIPs is 0, and replace a line in a VIP line. Add a VIP. Add a rider to line. The thing is how do I distinguish who a VIP is? Do I have the same line or do I have a different line? Okay, so this works, and this just appends a name onto the line. If we're adding a VIP, we want to add a new line, insert the VIP into the line at position num VI. So we have to have a new variable called num, that's what this is, num VIP. So, okay, so that's how we reference num VIPs, or the last num VIP. This is gonna be the index of the last, no, this is gonna be the index just after the last VIP in line. So this is where I insert a new VIP. So let's do that. Okay, add a new VIP. So I'm gonna I need this. I need to ask for a name. Need to ask for a name. Put this down here. I ask for a name and I print it, and I don't append it. I say that line how do I stick something right into insert? Here we go. This is the one I want. I want this one. Before, yeah, all right. That's what I want. So I'm gonna do insert name at, oh, it's called line. That's the name of the list. And I would insert at num VIPs. I want to insert name at num VIPs. Okay, so when we start out, there's no VIPs. So this is 0. So this is gonna be 0. So this is gonna insert name right at the front of the list because we're inserting a VIP. If there's already one VIP in there, then this is gonna be a 1, and this is gonna insert the name right after the first VIP. In other words, right where the first non-VIP is, from that point on, all those people are going to be pushed back in line once, and then this name is going to be stuck in there. Okay, so that's how we're going to do this. Geez, so you can just butt in line. And... Okay, so that, and Okay, so that should insert there. Oh, and we have to increment. This is where it says, don't forget to increment num VIPs. So I'm going to say num VIPs plus equals 1. All right, so that's 2. Remove riders from the front of the line. So to remove the riders from the front of the line, we're going to remove 3. So, gee, this is kind of complicated. So I'm going to do this. While for I in range num, what is it? Riders per ride. Riders per ride. While we're in that range, I want to pop off the top, which would be rider equals line dot pop 0. I want to pop the 0th person, the first person in line. I got to first make sure that there's somebody in line. If if the size of line, if len of line is greater than 0, then do this stuff. Pop off a rider, print the rider, and then if, okay, so if there is a VIP person, okay, if num VIPs is greater than 0, then we want to decrement num. That means that we got a VIP, so then we're going to decrement num VIPs. Okay. Num VIPs decremented. And then I'm going to do this. If, how do you exit? How do you exit a loop? Break? I can't remember how you exit a for loop in Python. Python exit loop early. Break. Okay, break. If the length of line equals 0, then break, I guess. All right, that might work. And I'm going to say, I'm going to put this here because this is when I do it. Okay, so if the length of line is greater than 0, then you just, okay, otherwise, if the length of line is else, if it's equal to 0, else print no, oops, no one is in line for your boring ride. Okay, so that's what prints out if you're trying to pull people off or if there's nobody in line. Okay, so that's 3. You know what we should do is after we're done pulling the 3 off, we should say we'll break out of it and we'll say right after the for loop is done, however the for loop ended, right after it's done, we're going to say print there are len line people waiting in line. Okay. Okay, what's for? Riders waiting in line. Yeah, okay, well that already tells you that. And then okay, so okay, let's I'm gonna run this, see what it does. Okay, reserve a place in line. Okay, so I'm gonna go 1 Joe Schmo. Okay, 1 Mary Chong. Let's do a reserve, a special guy. 2. Oh, I can get rid of this fix me, but it's entering the name. Hollingsworth, rich guy. Okay, how about we'll add another 2. Matilda, I better be careful about these made up names. There might be somebody out there with that name. But anyway, so let's just says how many there are. Okay, so we should have 4 people in line. Oh, let's do 4. 4 people in line. Oh, it says who they are. Hollingsworth. Oh, because the rich people are first in line, and then Joe Schmo and Mary Chong. Okay, so now I should let's do a 3. I gotta take those fix me's out of there. Okay, so Hollingsworth, rich guy, Matilda Matsunaga, and Joe Schmo get to go. There's 1 person left waiting in line, and I guess I'm with 3 again. And it says Mary Chong, there are 0 people waiting in line. Let's do it up to 3 again. And it says no one is in line for your boarding. Okay, so that looks pretty good. We got to get rid of the fix me's. So anyway, so you should be able to. So that is this one here. That's this here. So I guess you don't get anything for it. But let me do one more thing here, just for our knowledge. Let's do a breakpoint thing, and I'm gonna breakpoint. Oh, I have a meeting in 5 minutes. So let's do a breakpoint just to see this through, and we can see what all the variables are. We get to see the list as it grows, and okay. So I'm going to leave the breakpoint here, and I'm going to click run. And now it's asking. Oh, I'm going to stop this. I'm going to get rid of. I'm going to make this a comment because I don't need to have that fix me in there anymore. I don't need to have this fix me anymore. Okay. So now I'm going to run this. Okay. I'm going to do a 1. And we see that there is line has been created, and it's asking, we are sitting at this breakpoint, and it's about to test whether what I input was a 1 or not, or no, was a 5 or not. It has created line, so I'm just gonna skip to the next breakpoint, and so it's gonna come back around. So each next breakpoint click here is 1 iteration of the while loop. So I'm gonna click this, and now it comes down. It wants me to ask. It realized I clicked the 1, so now we're at this line here, and we're asking me my name, and I'm going to say regular 1 because I'm the first regular person in line. And now it's going to ask me to enter another command. And I'm going to do a 1 again. And now it stops at the breakpoint. And we see that the first person in line is regular 1. The name was regular 1. There's no VIPs. And we are doing a 1 again. Is that shown here? Yes, the user input is a 1 again. So I'm going to go ahead and click the next breakpoint. It's going to ask me who, and I'm going to say regular 2, enter, and asks me a command, and I'm going to enter a 2 this time because this time I want to reserve a VIP person. Put a 2 there, enter, and it comes back around, and regular 1 is the first one in line, regular 2 is the second one in line. There are still 0 VIPs because we got a user input of 2, and we have not gone down and executed this yet. So this is going to be the next line that's executed. In fact, first the while loop will be executed, and then this if will be executed and it'll fail, and then the elif will be executed, and this will be true because user input is a 2, and so we can execute it. And now it's going to ask for the name. 2, and so I'm going to just hit next breakpoint, and so now it asks me the name, and I'm going to say VIP. I'm going to say Rich VIP is the name. Enter, and now I'm going to enter. Now the next one I'm going to say is 4, just because I want it. Okay, and now look. Rich VIP got pushed to the 0th position, and that's because here it got stuck into the num VIP's position, which was 0. I'm gonna have it do this. Next breakpoint prints out everybody you can see. I'm gonna have it do 1 more VIP, and it's gonna be that's a 2. And you'll see that it'll be put in right after the rich VIP one. Okay, so let me do I'm going to do the next one. I'm going to do is I'm going to do the allocation thing. So I'm going to do 3. What happened? Anyway, so Rich. Okay, so I thought it was going to ask me. Did I have to press this again? Oh shoot. So it entered the name of 3 as a VIP. Well, whatever. So now here's where I do the 3. And so notice it entered in the second VIP right here. Okay. Anyway, I have to go to my meeting. So this finishes that 8.2.1 at the end of section 8.2. So I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. I got to go to my meeting, Joseph.